Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight. I'm Frank Rausam Pereira. Before we begin with the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV would like to appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear a mask, wash hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now, we move to the headlines. President, Vice President, Prime Minister and leaders from all parties pay tributes to Union Minister Ramvilas Paswan funeral of the departed LJP leader to be held in Patna on Saturday with state honours. Nomination process starts for the second phase of Bihar Assembly elections, voting for 94 seats in this phase to be held on the 3rd of November. First phase of voting on the 28th of October. RBI keeps key interest rates unchanged in bi-monthly monetary policy, projects a rise in GDP in the fourth quarter. Active coronavirus cases come down below 9 lakh for the first time in a month. Number of recovered patients exceeds new cases for the third week in a row. World Food Programme awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for 2020. The United Nations body feeds needy populations across the globe in times of calamity and military crisis. Well, Union Minister Ramvilas Paswan will be cremated in Patna on Saturday with full state honours. Law and IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will represent the central government at the funeral. The veteran leader from Bihar and founder of the Lok Janshakti Party died on Thursday in Delhi due to prolonged illness. In a statement, Delhi's Fortis Escorts Heart Institute said Paswan was admitted with heart failure and kidney shutdown. He was later put on ventilator and ECMO support for a failing heart and lungs and also underwent surgery. As a mark of respect, the national flag was flown at half-mast in Delhi and state capitals on Friday. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to the Union Minister at his residence. In his condolence message, President Kovind said that the nation has lost a visionary leader in Paswan's demise. In his condolence message, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Ramvilas Paswan's unwavering commitment to social justice will always be remembered. This was the Prime Minister paying his last respects as well to the departed soul. The Union Cabinet met on Friday to express condolences over Paswan's demise. The Cabinet observed silence for 2 minutes in the memory of Paswan. Senior leaders including Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, Jitendra Singh, Rahul Gandhi, Sharad Pawar, Nitish Kumar and Lalu Prasad also paid tributes to the departed leader.
हम लोग के संबंध बिहार के नाते, जेपी मूवमेंट के नाते, संसद में, सरकार में एक बड़े भाई के रूप में उनका स्नेह और आशीर्वाद मिलता था। तो हम सभी दुखी हैं, देश दुखी है, बिहार दुखी है। क्या कहूँ, बहुत सी भावनाएं याद आती हैं। मेरी बहुत विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि है। देश ने अपना एक बहुत ही सच्चा सपूत खो दिया।
पिछले 4 दशकों से मैं उनको जानता था। कभी हम विपक्ष में रहे, कभी वो विपक्ष में रहे और कभी हम साथ इकट्ठे भी सरकारों में रहे। और डाउन टू अर्थ है। हमेशा जो गरीब लोग हैं, चाहे वो किसी भी समुदाय के हों, उनकी हमेशा मदद करते थे।
पूरा देश दुखी है और बिहार तो पूरी तरह से इस समाचार को सुनकर सदमे में है। केंद्र में चाहे रेल मंत्री के नाते हो, टेली कम्युनिकेशन हो, स्टील हो, हर विभाग पर उन्होंने अपनी एक छाप छोड़ी है। और जिस भी विभाग में रहे, बिहार के विकास के लिए हमेशा लड़ते रहे और बिहार के लिए उनका इतना बड़ा योगदान है कि बिहार कभी रामविलास पासवान के योगदान को भूल नहीं सकता है।
वह किसी भी सरकार में मंत्री रहे, लेकिन सभी पार्टियों में बराबर की दोस्ती, सबको साथ लेकर के चलना, मृदुभाषी, सबके साथ सरल स्वभाव के साथ मिलना और समाज के प्रति अपनी कमिटमेंट, अपनी समर्पण के साथ उन्होंने जीवन जिया है। ईश्वर उनकी आत्मा को शांति दे।
Well, in his career spanning over 5 decades, Ramvilas Paswan has been a member of the Lok Sabha 8 times, served 6 prime ministers starting with the cabinet of VP Singh. He held several portfolios ranging from railways to the Ministry of Telecommunications and Coal. Before his death, he was in charge of the Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution portfolios. Here's a look at the political journey of this leader. Ramvilas Paswan, a stalwart socialist who emerged as one of the most iconic Dalit leaders from Bihar with a nationwide following. Born on the 5th of July 1946 at Khagadia in Bihar, Ramvilas Paswan entered the Bihar Legislative Assembly at the age of 20 as a member of the Samyukta Socialist Party in 1969. He joined the Lok Dal upon its formation in 1974 and became its General Secretary. An ardent follower of Raj Narayan and Jayaprakash Narayan, Paswan was arrested in 1975 when emergency was proclaimed in India. On being released in 1977, he became a member of the Janata Party and won the election to Parliament for the first time from Hajipur seat. He held the world record for winning an election by the highest margin. Paswan was re-elected to the 7th Lok Sabha in 1980 and in 1984 from Hajipur constituency. In 1983, he established the Dalit Sena, an organization for Dalit emancipation and welfare. Paswan was re-elected to the 9th Lok Sabha in 1989. In his political career spanning over 5 decades, Paswan held many ministerial portfolios. He was appointed Union Minister of Labour and Welfare in the VP Singh government. In 1996, he became the Union Railway Minister. In 1999, he became a Cabinet Minister in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government and held the communications portfolio till 2001. In 2000, Paswan broke from the Janata Dal to form the Lok Janshakti Party. After the 2004 Lok Sabha elections, Paswan joined the United Progressive Alliance government. He was made the Union Minister in the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers and Ministry of Steel. In 2009, he lost the Lok Sabha election from Hajipur for the first time in 33 years. From July 2010 to May 2014, Paswan remained a member of the Rajya Sabha. In 2014, he was once again elected to the 16th Lok Sabha from Hajipur constituency as an ally of the NDA. He was given charge of the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution in May 2014, which continued in the Modi government's second term in 2019. Often termed as the great survivor in Indian politics, Ramvilas Paswan was instrumental in the implementation of the Mandal Commission report in 1990 during the VP Singh government. As a champion of the Dalits, particularly in his state, Ramvilas Paswan focused on getting projects to his region or employment for members of his community, efforts that made him a key swing force in Bihar. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television. Well, moving on to some other news now, and news from the elections in Bihar. The notification for the second phase of assembly elections in the state was issued on Friday. With this, the process of nomination of candidates has started. The second phase of polling will be held on the 3rd of November for 94 seats spread over 17 districts. The last date for filing nominations is the 16th of October. Nomination papers will be scrutinized on the 17th of October. The last date for withdrawal of candidates is the 19th of October. Meanwhile, all poll-bound districts are in North Bihar except Patna and Nalanda. These districts include Sitamarhi, Shohar, Madhubani, Darbhanga, Muzaffarpur, Gopalganj, Siwan, Saran, Vaishali, Samastipur, Begusarai, Khagadia, Bhagalpur, East and West Champaran. Meanwhile, 1,357 candidates have filed their nominations for the 71 assembly seats in the first phase. The last date for withdrawal of candidature is the 12th of October. Voting for 243 assembly seats in the state will be held on October 28th, November 3rd and November 7th. Counting of votes will take place on the 10th of November. Well, the Reserve Bank of India on Friday decided to keep the benchmark interest rate unchanged at 4%. The Apex Bank kept an accommodative stance, suggesting it stands ready to cut rates further if economic conditions warrant it. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das said growth may turn positive during January-March due to improving signs of recovery. He added that the focus must shift from containment to revival.
At the end of the three-day meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, the Reserve Bank of India decided to maintain its repo rate and reverse repo rate at 4% and 3.35% respectively. The Reserve Bank of India has already reduced the repo rate by 115 basis points since February this year. Repo rate is the rate at which the RBI lends to commercial banks, while the reverse repo rate is the rate at which it borrows from them.
The MPC evaluated the domestic and global macroeconomic financial conditions and voted unanimously to leave the policy repo rate unchanged at 4%. The MPC also decided to continue with the accommodative stance of monetary policy as long as necessary, at least through the current financial year and into the next year, to revive growth on a durable basis and mitigate the impact of COVID-19 while ensuring that inflation remains within the target going forward.
The RBI has estimated a 9.5% contraction in the Indian economy in fiscal 2021 due to disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The RBI governor said that Indian economy is entering a decisive phase in the fight against coronavirus, and silver linings are visible with the uptick in manufacturing sector and energy consumption.
The Indian economy is entering into a decisive phase in the fight against the pandemic. Relative to pre-COVID levels, several high-frequency indicators are pointing to the easing of contractions in various sectors of the economy and the emergence of impulses of growth. By all indications, the deep contractions of Q1 2021 are behind us. Silver linings are visible in the flattening of the active caseload curve across the country. Barring the incidence of a second wave, India stands poised to shrug off the deathly grip of the virus and renew its tryst with pre-COVID growth trajectory.
In a business-friendly move, the Reserve Bank of India said the real-time gross-settlement system used for large-value transactions will be made available round the clock from December. Currently, RTGS is available for customers from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on all working days of a week except the second and fourth Saturdays of every month. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, it's time now for the latest coronavirus updates. Well, the number of active COVID-19 cases in the country has fallen below the 9 lakh mark for the first time in a month, while recoveries exceeded new cases for 3 continuous weeks. Presently, the active cases stand at 8.93 lakh and comprise merely 12.94% of the total positive cases of the country. Over 59 lakh people have recovered from COVID-19 in the country so far, and recoveries exceed active cases by 50 lakhs. The recovery rate has further improved to 85.52%. 70,496 fresh infections were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total cases to over 69 lakhs. 964 deaths were reported in the same period, pushing the death toll to 1,06,490. Well, according to the ICMR, a total of 8.46 crore samples have been tested so far, with 11.68 lakh samples tested on Thursday. Well, moving on to some news on foreign policy. Now, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Friday assured Afghan peace negotiator Abdullah Abdullah that India is committed to peace, prosperity and stability in Afghanistan. Both leaders held extensive talks on the ongoing peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban. In a Twitter message after the meeting, Jaishankar said that they had a good discussion on bilateral cooperation and regional issues. Abdullah Abdullah, chairperson of the High Council for National Reconciliation, said that the External Affairs Minister assured him of India's support for peace in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the meeting comes a day after Abdullah met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The visit of the influential Afghan leader to India comes in the midst of peace talks between the Afghan government and the Taliban in Doha. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Defeat coronavirus. Let us always remember, wear a mask. Wash hands. Follow physical distancing. Together, we'll succeed. Together, we'll win against COVID-19.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. This is the news tonight. Well, the Parliamentary Committee on Health and Family Welfare held a hearing on COVID management through the scheme Ayushman Bharat. All 24 department-related parliamentary standing committees were reconstituted by the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, M. Venkaiah Naidu, and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla recently. Rajya Sabha MP Ram Gopal Yadav has been appointed chairman of the committee.
Parliamentary Panel on Health and Family Welfare on Friday heard the views of the Secretary, Department of Health and Family Welfare on the management of the COVID pandemic. The Health Ministry is conducting the testing and treatment of COVID-19 pandemic under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The objective was to increase supply of testing and treatment facilities and increase access to them by including the private sector through this scheme. After the reconstitution of the parliamentary standing committees, members on the Health and Family Welfare Committee from the upper house are A.K. Antony, Indu Bala Goswami, Dr. L. Hanumantaya, Suresh Prabhu, Dr. Shantanu Sen, P. Narayan Singh, K. Soma Prasad, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, Sampatya Uike, Ram Gopal Yadav. And from the Lok Sabha, the members on the committee are Bhavna Gavale, Ramya Haridas, Dr. Chandra Sen Jadon, Maloth Kavita, Dr. Amol Ram Singh Kohli, Dr. Sangamitra Maurya, Arjun Lal Meena, Pratima Mondal, Dr. Preetam Gopinath Munde, Dr. M. Munchpara, K. Navasakni, Dr. Bharti Praveen Pawar, Adur Prakash, Haji Fazlur Rahman, Dr. Rajdeep Roy, Dr. Subhas Sarkar, DNV Senthil Kumar S, Anurag Sharma, Dr. Mahesh Sharma, Dr. Sujay Radhakrishna, and Dr. Krishnapal Singh Yadav. Like other department-related parliamentary standing committees serviced by the Rajya Sabha Secretariat, the Committee on Health and Family Welfare is governed by Rules 268 to 277 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Council of States. The functions assigned to the committee pertains to the consideration of demands of grants of related ministries and departments, Examination of bills pertaining to the related ministries or departments whenever referred to the committee by the chairman or by the speaker. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Parliamentary Committee on Petroleum and Natural Gas held its meeting on Friday. After the reconstitution of 24 department-related parliamentary standing committees, Lok Sabha member Ramesh Bidhuri has been appointed as the chairman of the committee.
The Standing Committee on Petroleum and Natural Gas met on Friday. The committee considered the memorandum regarding selection of subjects for examination during 2020-21. After the reconstitution of the committees, members on the Standing Committee on Petroleum and Natural Gas from the Upper House are Ripun Bora, Narayan Das Gupta, Dr. Bhagwat Karad, Kanta Kardam, K. Ravindra Kumar, Om Prakash Mathur, Ahmed Patel, K. Ragesh, A. Vijay Kumar and Sukhram Singh Yadav. And the members from the Lok Sabha on the committee are Dibyendu Adhikari, Chinta Anuradha, Ramesh Bidhuri, Ramesh Bind, Pradyot Bordoloi, Girish Chandra, T. Kumar Gogoi, N. Kanchadia, Santosh Kumar, Rodmal Nagar, Unmesh B. Patil, M. K. Raghavan, C. S. Sahu, Dilip Saikia, Dr. B. Dhirubhai Shyal, Janardhan Singh Sigriwal, Lallu Singh, Vinod Kumar Sonkar, Ajay Tamta, Dr. K. Veeraswamy, and Rajan Vichare. The Standing Committee on Petroleum and Natural Gas is one of the 24 department-related standing committees. It is serviced by the Lok Sabha Secretariat. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Parliamentary Committee on Rural Development held its meeting on Friday. After the reconstitution of department-related parliamentary standing committees, Lok Sabha member Pratap Rao Jadhav has been appointed as the chairman of the committee.
The sitting of the Standing Committee on Rural Development was held on Friday. The committee considered the memorandum regarding selection of subjects for examination during the year 2020-21. After the reconstitution of the committees, members on the Standing Committee on Rural Development from the Upper House are Manas Ranjan Punya, Shamsher Singh Dulo, Iran Kadati, Dr. Khar Lukhi, Sujit Kumar, Nazir Ahmed Lawai, K.P. Munuswamy, Naran Bhai J. Rathwa, Ram Shakal and Ajay Pratap Singh. And the members from the Lok Sabha on the committee are Sisir Kumar Adhikari, C.N. Annadurai, A.K.P. Chinraj, Rajveer Dillar, Vijay Kumar Dubey, Pratap Rao Jadhav, Sukhbir Singh Jaunpuria, Dr. Mohammad Javed, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, Nalan Kumar Katil, Narendra Kumar, Janardhan Mishra, B.Y. Raghavendra, Talari Rangaya, Geeta Ben Rathwa, Mala Raju Lakshmi Shah, Vivek Narayan Shejwalkar, Brijbhushan Sharan Singh, K. Sudhakaran, Dr. Alok Kumar Suman, Shyam Singh Yadav. Exclusive Standing Committee to give focused attention on the issues related to rural development was created for the first time on 5th of August 2004 under Rule 331C of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business in the Lok Sabha. The Ministries of Rural Development, Panchayati Raj and Department of Land Resources are under the jurisdiction of this committee. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Vice President and Prime Minister greeted all Indian Forest Service officers on the occasion of IFS Day on Friday. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that our diplomats play a key role in projecting and protecting India's interests both nationally and internationally. In his message, he also said that they promote the spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and are emissaries of our culture abroad. Prime Minister Modi lauded the work of IFS officers towards serving the nation and furthering national interests globally. He also said that the efforts of the officers during Vande Bharat mission and other COVID-related assistance towards Indian and foreign nationals have been noteworthy. Well, it's also World Post Day today. The day is marked to create awareness about the significant role of the postal sector in people's lives and everyday businesses. It also focuses on spreading awareness about the contribution of postal services to the social and economic development of countries. The Universal Postal Union paved the way for efficient postal services and became an agency of the United Nations in 1948. Universal Postal Union was founded in 1874 and the first World Post Day was celebrated in 1969. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu extended his greetings on the day, pointing the role played by the Postal Department during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The Vice President praised its members for their selfless and untiring efforts to reach the remotest areas and help people stay connected. Praising the postal team for their efforts to connect India, Prime Minister Modi also greeted all people associated with the postal services. He added that the team brings happiness to countless lives. Another significant news now, the United Nations Food Agency World Food Programme won the Nobel Peace Prize 2020 for its efforts to combat hunger and improve conditions for peace in areas affected by conflict. The Rome-based organization was previously nominated for the prize in 2018. It helps over 97 million people in about 88 countries each year. The WFP is constantly working to prevent the use of hunger as a weapon of war and conflict, and with the COVID-19 outbreak further boosting its relevance. The prize is worth $1.1 million and will be presented in Oslo in December. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of News Tonight. But before we leave, Rajya Sabha TV would like to appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember, these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic.